Why did I pick personal finance to begin with? It's something that I am personally interested in. The second reason was I'm kind of sick with all the unrealistic content that I see online. So for example, let's say you're interested in investing in property and then you join like a property group or property seminar or something like that. So these property investors will only say good things about property investing. They only say like, hey, look at how much money I made from selling my property. But they never mention about all the expenses and the headache that you have to deal with as a property owner. Second example, I have a friend who's really into stocks and he always brags online. Because I'm friends with him, he shares with me more stuff than what he shares online. Like I know a lot of times where he actually lost money. So he never mentions anything about that online. I mean, it's not realistic like you always win all the time. It's not realistic. So to give me a new fresh angle, what I did was I created an unbiased content explaining about popular topics. And I did an article about why investing in a rental property is not a good idea. So that article did really well. And then the second example is Malaysians, we love cars. Everybody will say, oh, what is the monthly payment for this car? I like this car. How much is the monthly payment? But the reality is there's so much more expenses that goes on with owning a car. So I did a really thorough article compiling the 5 top selling car models in Malaysia and the true cost of ownership for all these 5 cars. And that article also did really well, especially among the guys. And then the last example, I wrote an article about how I got laid off twice from my past engineering jobs. And that article was released somewhere around March 2020. That was at the beginning of the COVID lockdown. And everybody was also kind of like worried about their job and stuff like that. So it was the right article at the right time. These personal stories did really, really well. So what happens is people share it around and I get a lot of traffic to my blog. And once the hype dies off, so did my traffic. So I knew right then and there, I need to have a more reliable way to get traffic to my blog. So what I did was I picked up some basic skills on SEO online. So now when I write about a story or create some sort of content, it's answering somebody's question on Google. So thanks to this new strategy, now 82% of my traffic is from organic sources. So in my opinion, organic traffic is the best traffic source that you can get because A, it's free. B, it's pretty consistent, unlike social media traffic, which we will cover next. All right, social media. So when I first started this blog, I promoted my newly published blog on all popular social media profiles. So I'm gonna share with you my stats for all of my social media for Balkan Hijau. So from out of all of these, it seems like I do the worst on Facebook and Instagram. It's just not my thing. I personally never really hang out there. So Facebook, I only have 651 followers. In my opinion, the people who hang out on Facebook, they're typically a little bit older generation, maybe 30 plus. And they're usually a little bit more conservative. Next is Instagram, which I'm actually performing the worst. I only have 625 followers. To me, the people who hang out at Instagram, they're typically millennials and Gen Z. Don't want to be educated that much. They just want to be entertained with something. They want to have fun. I tried TikTok as well, but I don't really hang out there. So I dropped TikTok for now because I'm spreading myself too thin. At the moment, I only have 2 followers. So I think the demographics of people hanging out in TikTok are very similar to Instagram, but it's for a lot younger crowd. Now, surprisingly, Twitter, I do pretty well. I have 1,627 followers at this point. You get a lot of followers if one of your tweets are talking about a current hot topic thing that triggers their emotion, or just be generally funny about something. So next is LinkedIn. As of this writing, I have 952 followers on LinkedIn. It's perfect for simple educational content, writing and also videos. Next, YouTube channel. I have 1,700-ish subscribers and YouTube is perfect for in-depth tutorial, how-to videos and also generally longer videos like what you're listening to right now. And the last social media platform that I tried is Pinterest. Now, I never really get the hang of Pinterest. I don't think it really works for me, but there's a lot of US traffic that hangs around on Pinterest. So if you want to target US people and then you know how to edit pictures to make it look like a pretty pin, then Pinterest is the way to go. So that's the stats of all my social media profiles. So when I've been promoting all of my content for like about a year, I noticed 2 things very important. So the first one, social media platforms generally don't like you putting any links into the posts because you got to understand that social media platforms make money by showing ads to people who are on their platform. If you put a link in your post, and then your readers see it, and then they click, they go out. So when they go out, the social media platform can't make money from showing ads to this person because he's already out. So the algorithm will not like any posts on social media that has an external link in there. Okay, I'll give you a live example. So on LinkedIn, if I say, hey guys, I have this new blog post, it's really amazing, give a summary, and then to read the full review, click here. And I can guarantee you that LinkedIn will not like that post because it has a link. So what happened is the algorithm will like bury you down there, they'll not take you priority, and will not show you to a lot of people, as much people as you want. So then you're gonna see that the number of likes and shares and all that kind of stuff is really low. However, when I created a video, and instead of putting a link to YouTube there, I uploaded the video, the actual video, into LinkedIn itself, that did really, really well because people were staying inside the platform. So that's the first important thing that I learned about social media. The second one is, when you want to promote something, you generally will write some sort of copy like, hey, today in this blog, I blah, 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 you have a summary, right? So you can't use the same copy for each and every one of the social media platform because the audience will be different. So case in point, I had this experiment. I talk about something witty and I post that on Twitter and did really well. People like, yeah, you're right, man, yeah. But then I post the same thing on Facebook where the audience was a lot more conservative and they were condemning me like, oh man, you're really wrong, you're a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. But because the audience is very different, you will have two different reactions. So the key message out of all of this is you need to customize the copy for each social media platform because it has a different audience for each and every one. So despite all of this effort, only 3% of my total traffic to my blog came from social media. But you know what? I still promote my stuff on social media anyways. But my intention is different. Instead of I want you to go to my blog, for me it's just a personal branding thing. I'm like, hey, I'm Helmi and I talk a lot about personal finance stuff. So next time I'm like, oh, that's the guy who talks a lot about this topic. So to me, that's my game plan when it comes to social media. Okay, last, YouTube. YouTube is a whole nother monster. Nowadays, a lot of people prefer watching videos than reading text. I'm not saying that YouTube is better than blog. I use both of them to complement one another. So YouTube is a fantastic place for you to personal brand yourself. Like right now, you're listening to me. It's almost like I'm talking to you directly, right? Like I'm personally speaking to you. And that's really good personal branding. But if you compare to text, there's so much personality that you can put in text. But the reality is, YouTube is not for everybody. Not everybody wants to talk in front of the camera. Not everybody wants to edit videos. So if you're willing to beat the camera shy monster, YouTube is a great way to outshine your competitors, especially if they're not doing YouTube right. So as of this writing, I have published 30 videos on Balcony Hijau's YouTube channel. I have around 1,754 subscribers and I have a total of 142,000 views. So as I mentioned, both my YouTube channel and my blog, they're not competing with one another, but they're complementing one another. On my blog post at the very top, I would embed my YouTube video. So when people land on my blog, if they don't want to read, they can watch the video. Likewise, if they're surfing on YouTube, they found my video, and then they want to have more detail or step-by-step instruction to do something, they can click on the link that I place in the video description and go back to my blog. So ultimately, the more traffic you get to your blog, the more potential income you can earn. It's as simple as that. And the best way to get traffic to your blog is to create helpful content that is answering people's questions when they go on Google search. And this whole thing is called SEO, search engine optimization. So blogging requires a ton of effort, the ability to learn something new really quick, and also, most importantly, consistency. Well, there you have it. That's how I picked my niche and my blogging strategy to achieve $120 US a month from blogging. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.